quality talk shows. It's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Wacka, 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 wacka. Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, tech trends impacting your business. Lori Schwartz here, your friendly neighborhood technology catalyst. And we have with us again the venture capitalist dude today, Mr. Mark Kapczynski. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, more underwear. More underwear. Boy, the chicks really dig you. It must be so hard. So Mark and I fought a lot of traffic today to get here to be with you and to be with John, the fabulous engineer. Say hello to everybody, John.
Hello, hello.
And we have a lot of exciting things to talk about because we've talked with Mark before, and he filled us in on a lot of trends in the startup area. And what we thought we'd do today is focus a little bit on some of the news that's bubbling up. There's a lot of hot new technology trends, and I think it's very confusing for people who, one, consumers it's very confusing for, but two, those of us in the business who are trying to figure out, either as marketers or as content creators, what are the technologies in this marketing tech space that are going to be sticking around? What's real? You know, what's the platform that I should invest money in? If I build on somebody's API, will it be here tomorrow?
It almost seems like there's such a glut now in the market of so many apps and so many things that a marketer can do that almost sort of proves their old adage of, well, we'll just wait till something gets scale.
Right.
It almost, hurts us having so many different options
does.
and stuff.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think I was just reading an article by this woman who had, I forget her name, but she had a very well-known blog in the mom blog space.
And it wasn't you.
And it wasn't me.
Okay, just making sure you weren't having a conversation with yourself.
Well, I do talk to myself a lot, but not out loud, at least to my knowledge. But she was just saying that she used to take a lot of pride in crafting a message, writing it, and then putting it online. But now the pressure to get eyeballs on short attention span platforms and the speed of which these new platforms are coming and the amount of different people who are claiming your time on these short form platforms has so diminished the ability to make a broader message or actually to craft something of longer value. And I think we're in that, to your point, that phase right now. I don't think this is going to sustain.
Yeah.
But, I was on a panel yesterday with your lovely wife was there.
She mentioned. She said you did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much.
She even tweeted it.
Oh, did she really?
She did.
I like that. I hated all those pictures, though. Anyway, but I was on a panel about social good and the use of celebrities, and someone in the audience asked a great question. It was these two different social good platforms. One was the EMA, who does a lot around the environment and holds awards and uses a lot of celebrities to, they helped launch the Prius.
Right.
They do really creative things. And the other one was Omaze, which is a platform that uses celebrity auctions to generate income. So they sell like a seat next to your favorite sports person. And you were really reflecting on how much you liked them. But one of the questions that came in the audience was, or your wife was reflecting, but one of the questions that came in the audience was, are you guys switching from movie stars and TV stars to Vine stars and YouTube content creators? Because they're reaching the millennial crowd. And I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm so Gen X that I haven't, I understand what's happening in YouTube.
You haven't
and Vine.
cut over.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time on those platforms as a consumer. Yeah. I do as a strategist, but I don't have favorites. You know?
I mean, almost to that point, I was talking with a startup. Some guys are setting up yet another sort of, I guess, video aggregation distribution platform. And we got into a whole discussion on like what kind of content are they going after and who are they going after for their customers, and sort of probably much like you would probably do, in my head, I'm like, how do they get MTV? How do they get Viacom? How do they get CBS? And so they're like, we're going after only premium content. So it further is like reinforcing, they must get, above MTV. It must be ABC, CBS,
big network deals. Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, so how are you going to go get these big guys? And they're like, oh no, we're just going to go after the YouTube guys. I'm like, well, but wait a sec. Like by definition, I don't know if that's considered premium content. On one level, maybe it is, but like on the industry level term, that's not premium.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, where's the line now?
Right.
As to,
I don't.
What's premium?
There
anymore?
is no line. I mean, I saw an Ad Age chart that broke out what some of the top YouTube content creators are making, and it said like Bethany Moda is making like 30 grand, and of course,
that's not too
well,
bad.
I thought it was a year, right? I'm reading it and I'm just saying, oh, she's making 30,000 a year just doing the YouTube stuff, but she has all these other properties. And then I was looking at Michelle Phan and all these different ones that are all in that like
Category,
30 to 50 grand.
It's monthly.
It's monthly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Monthly, they are making it just on YouTube from ad sales, right? From YouTube's own stick a pre-roll and post-roll and ads in the middle.
And that's just their cut.
That's
right?
just their cut, right?
So YouTube's just crushing it.
Oh,
with all
just
these guys.
crushing it. So it's just unbelievable. And part of me was threatened. Well, I was just, I'm a little like, well, I don't watch that. As a person, I don't watch it.
So I got into the same discussion around this because it's like, where do these things, the MCNs go?
Yes.
Right. And so the whole thing is like, so, Bethany, these folks are, probably hooked up on some MCN style hall or whatever,
some bigger network called the
Aggregator.
Multichannel network that gives them they're almost their agents. They're their own network. They're providing the legal issues for them, taking care of them.
They're getting eyeballs and all that stuff. But what's funny about that model even, right, is their whole goal is then to not be on the MCN and have their own destination.
Right.
But it's like, it's also this drug that's like, yeah, but I'm making 30 grand a month. It's
Why
like,
should I leave? Right.
Like, how do I leave and, carry this following?
And here's another question for you. If it indeed is about these YouTube guys, their ultimate goal is to get on broadcast television.
They wanted their own show. Exactly.
They want it on broadcast television.
Right.
So
or a movie deal.
Or a movie deal, right. So Hardy, who does that great show, oh my God, my brain's not working this morning. The one where he makes all sorts of weird things with bacon.
Right.
It'll come to me later. The Bacon Show. They create these crazy food things, and he's like a huge YouTuber. And he got a show that helped open up one of the new cable networks that renamed, and so he was drawing audience to that cable network. And for them, that was the Grand Poobah. Right. So this talk of YouTube being premium, it's a premium launcher. I think, but they're all aiming to get to broadcast. And look, all those millennials are moving into the living room, but they're watching YouTube in the living room.
Right.
So then YouTube content will just go on to ABC, NBC, and that will be the new, aggregator.
And I guess part of the problem is if you look at then you have, quote unquote, the real premium guys, you have the YouTubers, and then you have sort of the independent producer, in between there somewhere.
Trying to make it,
Trying to make it, and they're actually sort of the most screwed, if you want to call it, in all of this.
because they're not in any system.
They're in no system, and how do they get discovered? I was talking to one of my friends who imports content from around the world to have it distributed here and tries to get it on cable networks here in the U.S. And
so he's like foreign distribution reversed,
right? He's trying to import stuff that has applicability here. And his interesting...
Ladies and gentlemen, thankfully you're probably not watching the video.
So this guy's challenge is like, how does he get above the fold in any of this stuff? So he's on Hulu, but like no one's ever going to find him.
Right.
He's on YouTube with a channel, no one's ever going to find him. Like,
it's a glut.
Like,
it's a
how
glut.
How
do you raise above? No, you're right. And I don't know if you saw the video, because Facebook, by the way, is doing a tremendous job on video right now. They've changed some things, and I actually was just reading that they said their users are watching 4 billion videos a day compared to 3 billion in January and 1 billion in September.
So are they actually watching, or is it just like that?
Well, the videos are like
I know that auto scroll.
I hate that thing. It's
well,
just
the thing is, that's a great question.
That's a good point.
And also the videos are very short. But I have to say that it is
Tell me
becoming...
they're not getting like ad credit for a view on that
well,
stuff.
it's
like,
really
clearly I'm
it's
not
really
watching
really
it,
interesting, and a lot of people
Right.
a lot of people have turned that off. I mean, at least
How do you
sound
turn
is
it
off now.
I gotta turn it off.
You have to go in the settings, and it's annoying.
Maybe
but
I should call Facebook.
Yeah, call
and ask
Facebook.
them
Good
to
luck
go-
with that.
Do they even have a phone number?
That's like
can you
that's
even call
like
them?
calling Google.
That's right.
You'd actually have better luck calling God, and especially if you don't believe in God. but
I think for the next radio show, what we should do is actually see what's easier
to call Facebook or Google.
Yeah,
I
and,
think
get
that's
them on
a great.
the phone here.
I think that's
like,
a great
we gotta
idea.
like put that in the list
I
of
did
things to
try
do.
for a client to call DoubleClick once, and it took about a month.
Right.
And it took me calling every friend I knew who worked at Google to find me somebody. Absolutely. And it's actually really challenging, except for if you're a big brand spending shitloads of dough. Then you have the hotline.
Unless you have a controversy going on.
I don't know, because my last employer, we had the hotline. You know,
you were Experian,
we were
right?
a big spender on these things,
and you still couldn't get
you
anyone.
Still get treated like, like
God,
dirt.
Who,
You know,
I guess we'll have to figure
like,
out who could we be that would get attention. But what I was noticing last night too was I was watching the Amy Schumer video going around. Am I saying her name? Schumer. Amy Schumer video going around. She's got a show that just is in its 3rd season. She's a hot comedian. She's really funny, really sharp, and very popular right now and making everybody laugh. And she's not typical. She's like, you know, a little full-figured and self-deprecating, but not in a mean, it's just clever and sharp. So the video that was going around was all about how Tina Fey, Julianne Dreyfus, and also
Amy Poehler.
Well, it wasn't Amy Poehler. It was
Amy Poehler.
the sister, Roseanne. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
Arquette.
Patricia.
Okay, Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette, all giving a party to Julia Dreyfus because it was her last vagina day.
Right.
You know, it was the last day that the business was going to recognize that she was literally fuckable on TV, and that she was kind of excited because that means she wouldn't have to keep her figure anymore. And they were all celebrating it and all talking about how they're just going to all die off the TV planet, and that they go from one day being the hot girlfriend to being the, you know, Santa's wife,
right? The
mom, right? And I was just thinking that again is an example of the world that we're in, that I'm discovering Amy's videos, these short videos in that environment, not watching her show on broadcast television. You know,
but like, when are you discovering it? It's like when you're in between, or
other
you're
things,
like riding in the car with someone, and like
right.
These little moments of free time.
When my husband is talking to me.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I had
when
to
my
say
child
it.
needs me, and
when my
is in
child
pain,
needs me, that's right.
I'm pulling up YouTube
You know
to
what
drown it out.
And I find now that I'm doing a lot of that late at night when I'm already like in bed, but I'm not. You know, my brain's not ready to go to sleep yet, and that's when I'm watching that stuff. But
and they say that keeps you up.
It does keep you up. The blue light
gets you all fired up and stuff. So
it's terrible. It's really bad.
Yeah.
There's so many bad habits. But
like, would you sit on the couch and just watch like 30 minutes of YouTube content?
Well, I would send it to a big TV. I would not sit there.
But sure.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. But
no,
like,
but I would not. No,
because like, even part of it is like, how do you like? I don't want to like create a playlist for myself.
Yeah,
and like have to bounce around.
Well, you subscribe. You subscribe. Well, okay, so
no, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, the nice thing about premium content.
Yes, it's all ordered.
It's all ordered, and it's 20 minutes or
and
30 minutes or 40 minutes long.
That's the cord cutter's cry right now, right? The cord cutter's cry is, how do I find things?
Yes.
I know I've subscribed to the shows or the channels I like, but how do I find things?
Right.
So a premium broadcast model will always have is a discovery engine built in. We haven't cracked discovery yet.
Right.
And also I think it's that the length of time, you know, because most of the stuff that you're finding on YouTube's a minute or 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, which feels like a lifetime on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so if I'm going to sit and watch an hour of programming with my wife on the couch, it's like, now we got to stitch together 20 videos that we're going to watch, or 40 videos. It's like,
also, what do you each subscribe to? Because I subscribe to some yoga videos that I've been doing in the morning.
Sure.
So I can easily find them under my subscribe channel. But if we're watching something together, you're not going to necessarily be interested in my subscriptions, you know. So it's very
also
interesting.
that notion of like,
then you have to log in and log out.
You don't get into the experience of the content, right? I mean, storytelling and being involved in the show and the content.
It would be interesting.
And the characters.
The next time we come, we Mark comes, and he's going to be a regular. But we should bring a millennial. Well, you're kind of a millennial, but we should bring an official millennial.
Where would we find one?
I don't know. I think if you wave bacon out in the street, they come.
It's funny, for my company, I have an intern from UCLA.
Oh, you
and
do,
so the 5 of us, you know, Gen Xers, will sit around him and be like,
him.
"What do you have on your phone? Show us your phone.
Right,
what apps do you have?" You know, it's like, he's like, "I don't have a car. I don't have the."
A millennial in the wild.
It's like, wow,
Mutual of Omaha's
he's so
millennial
raw.
kingdom.
He's so raw, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, I teach at Loyola once a week, and what I have for the spring semester, and what I've discovered is that that 18, I think I've talked about this before, but that 18 to 22-year-old in college kind of disappears from popular culture because they're in college.
Right.
So even though they have millennial behaviors, they're not the millennial that you want to talk to about research, because they're not reflective of the tribe at large. They're this other weird group.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So going back to what we were saying then about these new platforms, we were talking earlier about, so you have Periscope and you have Meerkat, and then you were mentioning Uber has just launched Operator. Which I heard there's...
Well, it's not technically Uber.
What is that?
The co-founder.
The co-founder. So it's really interesting, and there are like 80,000 people waiting to get on, but it's basically you just can order a service of any kind, anything you need. It's like anything.
That's interesting.
It's like a butler.
That's like
that's
like the handy service.
Siri for services.
Yeah.
But okay.
Basically, this is how they would describe it. It's now you click the Operator app and you get routed to a network of people to help you. The right products, the right people, the right businesses. And I just thought to myself, well, wow, now I never have to leave my house.
That's right.
Because there are all these other things.
You strap on your VR goggles,
That's
and then
right.
you never even have to see anyone.
And then you never have to see anyone. And then we're truly starting to look like that movie.
WALL-E.
WALL-E.
Yeah, just that visual
Or,
passed through my head
What
as
was
well.
the Bruce Willis one?
Oh, and when he's in the future?
Well, and then they're all Surrogate. It's
Surrogate.
called Surrogate.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right,
it's like
right.
that
Oh, I
one.
liked
So
that one.
That was a good one, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's that same thing where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to put on my VR goggles.
It's not your body. Well, VR is another crazy one that everyone is talking about right now.
Right.
And it's been around for a long time, but it's getting a lot of heat because there's a lot of Hollywood investment right now. And we'll probably see in the next 6 months a lot of shows. And the mobile phone is really where it's all going to happen, because you have a VR app and you have Google goggles of some kind. Not Google goggles, but Google Cardboard.
Right.
Or some other device.
Do you think that's really going to catch on, though?
Well, it's so
not.
interesting.
You know it's
People
not.
are spending so much money. Like, I haven't seen this much Hollywood investment in such a long time.
3D, same thing.
Well, 3D is different, though. This is being taken a little bit more seriously. Don't you think it's being taken a little bit more seriously? I mean, the amount of investment. Well, I think what's happening is because the file sizes are so large and because it's connected to gaming.
Yeah.
I think there's a different thing going on.
I was going to bring up that like virtual worlds like Second Life and all of that. They've
come and gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's still in existence, but there's a very small
like,
niche market.
Second Life
like
took a long time to. There was a huge learning curve.
But do you think it will have a resurgence with Oculus and everything?
I think there's going to be something that's going to go on, but I think it's going to be kind of lame in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think it'll find its way.
I mean, I think you have to get rid of the glasses requirement. I mean,
Right.
that's why 3D has failed yet again.
Right. And
it was a gimmick, in the 50s or something to get people to movie theaters.
I think you're right. But the
then it's
cardboard factor and that it's an app on your phone may make it a more digestible
Is that a
thing.
building thing?
It's like a Google Cardboard. Have you ever seen,
No, I haven't seen
it?
it.
I'll bring one in,
Okay.
actually. It's just $15. Dodo Case makes them, and you just fold it together and you slide your phone in. And
so you know,
yes,
3D had the exact same thing.
did they really? I never saw them.
Yeah, there was a bunch of companies that made these little cases
really?
where you
because these are everywhere. I mean, I'm seeing them everywhere. It'll be interesting. You and I will talk about this in a few months, and we'll see. But there's investment happening that I haven't seen before.
So it turns your phone into a VR app?
Yeah,
basically?
you can watch VR from your phone,
Okay.
and that's the biggest difference. Is that this is now becoming the VR screening device.
Got
So
it, okay.
3D, as it was coming out like 10 years ago,
yes.
had the exact same thing,
But-
and there were a bunch of people.
But you didn't have smartphones then.
Yeah, you did.
But not at this level. You didn't.
Not at this adoption.
Right,
yes.
not at this
Yes.
adoption, and not at the point where people were already spending all their time on their mobile device. So that's where this might be the perfect storm, but we'll argue about it later.
Could be.
Discuss.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We'll discuss later, because I think there's a perfect storm going on. But I have yet to see, my partner is really becoming an expert in this space, and he really feels that what we haven't seen yet is forward-moving narrative in VR. We're seeing a lot of experiential scare the crap out of you and make you feel like
that's
you're
like the early days of HD.
Yeah,
right?
so it'll
Mark Cuban's,
stuff. His hair is so fascinating. Is that real? His hair?
I think it is.
Okay.
What about take you within a movie? And
Yeah, well,
explore
that's
the set and
that's
so forth.
that's kind of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like, you'll be able to see, Paul McCartney in a concert and pick any seat you want at a sports game and all that kind of stuff. By the way, this is the other interesting thing that's going on in this whole space is that we were talking about Periscope. And Periscope, it turns out, as well as Meerkat, NHL has ruled that they can't shoot people can't use Periscope or Meerkat at the games.
Interesting.
Because viewing of sports games
There's
is
a lot of broadcast.
yeah,
And
and
there's
so
people pay
I
rent.
don't. How are they going to stop people from doing it?
I guess they're gonna file a bunch of cease and desists on people.
Yeah, and
pull
make
down-
a few
and
case
pull down the-
studies.
pull down the content and stuff.
Yeah, or maybe stop. Can they stop the signal? Can they stop Wi-Fi? I guess, but then they
Well,
wouldn't be.
if you
Then
have 3G or 4G.
yeah, then
or-
people wouldn't be able to participate in the game.
Yeah.
By the way, the
Defeats the whole other
as I
issue.
mentioned to Mark earlier today, and I know only a few of us care, but the Islanders lost last night to the Capitals, and they got killed last night.
Wow.
Killed. And I just want to say that I believe in you, New York Islanders, and I believe in Nassau Coliseum. That's all I'm going to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
My Bruins didn't make it, so
It's the last year for the Nassau Coliseum. In fact, next week when they play again, it may be the last game in
Ever.
Nassau Coliseum. And I grew up there. Like that was my Billy Joel experience and my Bruce Springsteen experience and James Taylor and
wow.
all my dorky late 70s, early 80s
I think
concerts.
that's a good question. You should file into the discussion with the millennials if they recognize any of
those things.
those
those
bands,
people.
those
That's
people
right.
that you just
I know that is one thing I've noticed, and maybe this is because we are
Yeah.
Gen X, and so we're not the top generation right now. And in fact, the third one is coming up. Our kids,
Yeah.
right? But have you noticed that you date yourself in every conversation you have with anyone?
Absolutely.
John, has that happened to you? Because you're a millennial, right? So do you date yourself? At all?
Actually, I'm not a millennial.
You're Gen X? You're early Gen X?
Yeah.
Okay, you're
yeah,
early Gen X.
I just turned 40.
Because we're late Gen X. Or you're middle Gen X.
I'm middle Gen.
Where I'm kind of almost knocking on Boomer.
Yeah.
Hello, Boomer.
I'll take the millennial though.
I'm related
I'll
to
take
some
it.
boomers.
I'll take it, but
Well, because what was I saying?
I do date myself only because I started back in the days of Q-Link. Do you remember
Yeah.
Q-Link?
Yes.
I started then.
So
Yeah,
you've
I'm turning red.
been involved.
Yeah. yeah.
John is turning red. You guys can't see him, but he's turning red.
I will.
The old days of CompuServe.
Yes,
CompuServe, I
CompuServe was
remember.
I worked on CompuServe
Do
too.
you remember Microsoft at the time?
And Prodigy.
Microsoft had MSN.
Yes,
At the
MSN
time,
Network, yeah.
and the big thing was this was like 94.
That-
I think
and
it
that's
was.
when you were
They
there, right?
Just before I joined, but just before. So it was like 93, 94. They came out with their famous MSN upgrade called Blackbird.
Oh,
that
I've
was
never
supposed
heard
to
of that.
it was supposed to like take on Prodigy and take on
Oh,
CompuServe
wow,
and be the
okay.
next
Yeah.
thing. And then like a couple weeks later, it's like let's shelve that. We're going into
Right.
the internet.
Well, what about
It's
their
like,
what about their whole
this is a
like
bad
their
idea.
web TV product that was
yeah.
basically just sticking a browser on
Yeah.
NTSC, so like 4x3 browser,
Right,
and
right.
and it was so awkward,
I remember the days of the 300 baud modem, so I really
Oh,
can
yeah, the
date
dial-up
myself.
sound.
Wow.
Yeah, 300 baud, 1200 baud,
Yeah.
9600.
Well, many of us made sculptures with our AOL CDs.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
just stacks of them.
Just stacks of them coming out everywhere. All right. Well, the other big news.
So now that we've officially really dated,
Yes,
that's
right?
right. I know it's just so weird when
and people are like, "What's
talk
a
to
modem?"
anybody.
I
You
know.
But even
Coupler,
like,
remember the couplers?
yeah, well, the couplers,
Yeah.
and also
Oh, God.
just when
Uh-huh.
you talk about these seminal movies
Yeah.
that informed your life, and they have no idea what you're talking about.
Weird Science changed my life. That was introduced me to the
And-
power of a modem.
And then none of them will know what you're talking about.
Weird Science, Kelly LeBrock, back in the day.
It's so weird.
It
That's
is.
what I have noticed is they've
Yeah.
not. Maybe they haven't made their way
Yeah.
to the classics yet.
It's almost like there's no intellectual curiosity even in some of
this culture.
that culture. Or
I
some
mean,
of those.
they should get into I think every college student should watch the top 100 AFI movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or something like that. Well, the other thing that you were talking about earlier that I wanted
Yeah.
to bring up, which is made a lot of news, is that Time Warner and Comcast
Yeah.
are not
Yes.
merging.
Yeah.
So what happened there, Mark? Like what's going on?
What's going on? What happened there?
Was it a monopoly?
Well, I think it would have been a monopoly,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it all gets down to regulators, and do they want to cut up the company or not?
Yeah.
Like how far are they willing to go to compromise to get a deal done?
right.
And how much of a lesson are
Did you
regulators
hear
trying
that
to-
who killed it? I mean, was it a government kill or was it one of the companies?
No, one of the companies killed it,
Okay.
but it's clearly because of the regulators coming in and playing hardball to
Right,
get them
right,
to
right.
concede a bunch of things, and
Right.
looking at them being a monopoly, and
Yeah.
and it's kind of like in the old days with AT&T, and some of the challenges they had, right? Where now the regulators coming in and say, well, you can't be a mobile phone company and a home company and long distance and all these things. You got to break it all up.
Right.
And
then it always ends up coming back together. And then
in some
Uverse.
Well, I mean, I do think it's problematic
so.
when you're a distributor and a content creator. I mean, that's a real, and we have a lot of that going on right now. Well, I know a lot of the marketers and advertisers that I've spoken to were looking forward to the merger only because on the advertising side,
makes their life easy.
Right. They want ubiquity to leverage
scale.
Connected platforms and scale. And right now it is a big pain in the ass to build one thing in cable environments and get it on all the platforms. It's just the boxes are still all different.
Do you think, though, that's going to change with
IP? Storage? You caught me. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a little sound effect there, John.
What was it?
Insert foot here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Perfect. No, what I was going to say was like, with younger marketers, and you were at that Brand Universe thing, so as you think about like even younger marketers who are looking at multi-channel today, omni-channel down the road.
Yes. Yeah.
Where, now it's less, maybe as we go forward, less relevant to be doing just TV and so on, and finding these niches and ways to really connect with audiences, but do it at scale, but do it more distributed.
Right.
Do you think some of, those, sort of needs around, consolidation of TV and making a TV buy easier sort of start to go away because no one's on TV anymore?
Well, I think,
or no one's watching TV.
I think what will start to happen is that you'll get to know your consumer's path so well that you'll start to create content that's relevant to that path. So it is going down the funnel further because we're seeing a lot of reverse funnel stuff. We're seeing a lot of like smaller marketing initiatives that grab an influencer and then the influencer, pushes out that program to a larger audience. So now I think you're starting to see marketers realize, let me build my early adopters first. Let me go after my enthusiasts first and get them to push me out to. So I think that's what's going to happen is you're going to go niche first.
Right.
And then go wider.
Well, it seems even to that point, some of the Proctor and Gamble,
Proctor and Gamble, ladies and gentlemen.
Proctor and Gamble,
Unilever,
and
General,
all of them, almost have to get direct, but also more direct to consumer, direct to their customer, and also build more of like a reseller model, almost more like technology companies have done, where it's like
affiliate marketing.
Here's all of our products, and then here's where you go buy them, versus just relying on go to Target and find whatever. It's really more
find the right channels,
but also have a more direct engagement with you.
I do. I think you're absolutely right.
Like in the past, who'd care to have a relationship with a Unilever or a Procter & Gamble and so on?
But now you want to.
But now it's important to.
Well, I think again, this goes down to you just through data, how I buy things. You know exactly how I buy things, and I'm okay about that. And I want that content served up to me in my life path as long as it's relevant. Yeah. I've tried to use you probably don't do this because it's not your thing, but not your demo. But Target has an app called Cartwheel. And Cartwheel it's really supposed to be for like folks that are avid Target users.
You're the person that downloaded it,
right? It's like
we found her.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
found her.
But I try everything once at least. And
so does it work with beacons and stuff?
No, it's not a beacon thing. It's
Do you
really
still
more
have it on
like
your phone?
I still have it on my phone.
Good.
But what happens is you tell it things that you like, and then it will serve you up sales and things like that, and then you get points, and then your friends are buying things, and it's like a social app.
Do you know how many downloads they have?
I don't, but I find it hard to use and overly complex. And what I have often done at Target, and I don't go to Target all the time, but I'll go and do a mass purchase, right? I'll just buy everything every couple of months there.
Kids clothes.
Yeah, kids clothes and snacks. They actually have like healthy snacks there, which I don't think a lot of people realize, and great birthday gifts too. It's just a good place for that this age that we have. Kids stuff. It's amazing. Yeah. So you go in there, and I flip up my phone when I'm online on the aisle because I remember, maybe there's a coupon, and I can't freaking find the right coupon.
So let me ask you this then. Would you rather have sort of a Target app at Target, or would you rather have just a better, more ubiquitous app across all stores?
A ubiquitous app across all stores. Yeah. Like there's one called Checkout 51. It's more popular in Canada, and it's for all groceries. and you start earning points by using it at the various groceries and stuff like that. And that would be a place to drop a beacon API.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't Cartwheel just miss the boat with not having a beacon? Because that would make it easier for you to find coupons, right?
But I think it's more. I mean,
How many
I think
apps
it's
can
more
I have?
Well, I
How
think
many
it's
apps-
also
how
more
many-
systemic in that, like, someone like Target or any of those kind of brands, it's like they're not good at building consumer apps. That's not what they do for a living.
Right. And behaviorally,
And-
it didn't
right,
work.
and-
It didn't work. Or maybe it is successful for them. I don't know. But I find it really, I want, like, Mark is building out a big beacon network, and it has a beacon company, LocationX. And one of the things that I would like to see happen is I walk in a store and it sends me offers when I'm near something in an aisle, but stuff I've already opted into.
Yeah.
You want it personalized.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely go onto an interface and personalize it once,
Yeah.
and then not have to deal with it again. And then when I grow out of things, when I age out of things, like I just finally turned off Disney baby emails because I was getting, offers that don't make sense for a 5-year-old anymore, and I'm getting into the Disney Kids offers now. So who wants to receive baby coupons? I don't even have friends having babies anymore. A few friends have some babies, but Mark has how old is Emma now?
19 months.
19 months, but I just mean that I don't have.
But we're not having any more.
Right. I just,
Aaron, we're not having any more.
well, I just mean that I don't, I don't need that in my life anymore. So I turned it off. And it would be great to have something that relevant.
This is a great point that you just brought up, because I had this discussion with
Occasionally, I bring up great points.
No, you always do. No, I had this discussion with someone yesterday over companies like Experiential, where I used to work in, their marketing data, or Axiom or Epsilon, any of these kind of big data aggregators.
Yeah.
They basically only have data on you like right now.
They can't keep it?
No, they could store it and so on. But the whole point is, like, 5 years ago, your data described you in a certain way. That was much different than today.
Right.
And they don't show the trend or the transition.
Oh, they don't.
It's just like, because you bought baby food like 5 years ago, you still have baby in your profile.
Right.
And the profile never sort of evolves.
It doesn't
and
adjust. It doesn't
change.
adjust.
It's just like, let's just keep adding to it.
See, and
so it was like trying to explain this to someone on, like, why doesn't data, like marketing data, trend and transition with you as you go through life stages and things like that.
Freaking
like, wouldn't
brilliant.
that be awesome?
Yeah, that would be totally awesome. And a marketer could buy a lifestyle as opposed to a demographic, because
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, because I had some great conversations with Style Home. One of the things that they talk about, that's a multi-channel network that's based on fashion, fashion influencers. And one of the things they talked about was they've been around for a while now, like 5 or 6 years or something like that. And they said that what they've noticed is their influencers are now going through life stages. So one of them, say, was like a style woman at 23, 24. Then she got married, and then she had a baby. And so her followers are going through those same stages. And so the products that she's recommending are changing. And so there are brands now, like a Unilever, that sticks by that influencer, but swaps out the sponsored products as the influencer changes. Because now she's looking at diapers and creams and things like that, instead of single woman needs or instead of married woman needs. Now she's mom. And a lot of us have multiple personalities, not medically, but
maybe better said, you have different roles.
I have different roles, right? So sometimes I'm Lori Tech Catalyst. Sometimes I'm mom. Sometimes I'm wife. Sometimes I'm just lost in a sea of darkness.
Daughter, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you want your brands to support your life and to,
at the right time.
At the right time.
Like right now, you're in business mode. You want things that are related to.
Well, right now I'm in consultant. I didn't get dressed today mode. That's the one thing I do have to say when you're not going to meetings as a consultant.
Right.
You just don't get dressed. Yeah. Well, I usually do shower. Today was an exception.
But you know what? Back to this point. I mean, I think marketers tend to just look at like everything as point in time. It's like, it's even like some of the beacon stuff we're doing. It's like, like it's just real time. So you're in a bar. You must be a bar lover. Like, get a bar message to them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, but like maybe that person's not drinking, you know,
Right,
maybe that
What
person's
else
the
do you know?
designated driver.
What else do you know about them? Yeah.
Where were they before?
And
you know,
there
like
is
where do they
enough-
go?
There's
like,
enough
you know,
data to figure
the
that
data's
out.
all there, but like no one wants to really look at it sort of
Right.
longitudinally.
Right.
It's just more like, you know, you're in Target, hit them now. You know, it's
Well,
like,
why do you think that is though? Do you think it's too
easy.
hard?
It's easy.
It's
to
too
do.
hard to look at it longitudinally. Yeah.
And you know, part of it goes back to like corporate earnings and things like that, where it's like, you know, we got to make this quarter's earnings, so like forget looking at the future. Let's just make our numbers right now. So do whatever you can to
to make it happen, and they
to
don't
make it happen.
and they
so
don't
it's
want to
hard
make an
to
investment.
take that long-term view, like what you're even describing Unilever. It's like if you can build a profile. I mean, this is sort of what we were talking about before. Like brands and those big entities have to really build profiles of people over time. Right? They almost have to become the data aggregators themselves instead of like going to these big entities.
And storytell about that person. I mean, I love that idea. Well, going on to what's going on, we were talking about earlier about these different technologies and what should we as consumers invest in, but also what should VCs invest in? I mean, what the hell, how do they know what to do at this point? Because I was reading also that the NASDAQ is up and it's all based on tech.
Right.
And it's more on about Apple and Google and all of these other guys. But what are VCs looking for now? It seems like we're still in the bubble, or were we never in a bubble and this is just life? Life is just that.
I'm looking for a great quote that one of my buddies, actually, who's a VC, sent me. I was asking him a question about market validation for things.
Yeah.
And this is a VC. And he goes, I no longer know what is a good financial validation of a market.
Because it's all blurred right now.
It's all blurred. It's all over the map.
And you don't even know if the numbers you're getting are real anymore,
that's
right?
Well, and you know, even what we were talking about last time with startups and how they, sort of younger folks look at building a startup or people do it. It's like Snapchat raised 200 million. I'm just gonna build, Snapchat 2.0 and raise 200 million.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
Why would you do that?
Like, if you can do it, great. But that's not. There's 10,000 companies that weren't Snapchat that have all come and gone and failed.
Right, and
failed, and one made it. It's like you're one in 10,000. So it's like
it's going to happen though. Do you think that there'll just continue to be this flood of new tech coming in? And they'll come and go?
It's just getting easier and easier to build these companies. That it's like if one thing doesn't work, you just kill it. Do the next one.
Because there's not a big investment up front.
It's so easy to build these things.
Right.
I mean, it's just so easy.
You just get a temporary space somewhere. You don't even have to own your own office.
And
you hire freelancers.
Yeah. And the way financing is working, no one's writing big checks right up front.
Right.
So it's like, you know what? Go get a couple $100,000. You can get that off of basically a PowerPoint and some mock-ups. Like you don't even need an app. Like so if like I have a great app idea, it's like I don't even need like a full team. I just need a PowerPoint, a graphic designer to mock some stuff up for my idea. Yeah. Go get a few $100,000 and then like progress from there.
And so what if you just spend the money on like shopping? Because I'm sitting here going, wait, I can do that. I can put together a PowerPoint. And then I could go to Bloomingdale's.
It's all about the presentation.
That's right.
This could feed your Amazon Prime habit.
Yeah, that's right. And then I'll just get online. So what happens though if nothing happens after you've spent that investor's money?
Like, it's like 6 months.
And they don't care.
And then it's like, oh, we tried. It was a good idea. We'll try another one. And most of those investors are writing $25,000 checks, so it's
daily. Here's the question: do most investors understand that they're probably not going to make money?
Yeah.
So
most of the people that are writing these, at least in today's market, most of the people that are quote angel investors in the tech space know that it's a risk.
It's a risk.
It's a risk.
So of the percentage,
but they're only writing at 25K,
right?
And
spreading that out,
and they're hoping that it becomes Twitter or Snapchat,
right?
And the problem is they're getting some of those, right?
Right.
And so it's like you could almost do 50, 25K check investments if you're a multi-millionaire.
And one of them will hit.
One's going to be Meerkat.
So is there a formula for that? Like, is it for every 10 companies one hits, or
I don't think it's that
landed
maybe,
yet.
I think it's more like 1 in 50. Or,
1 in 50 companies hits right now. Well, what is going to happen to though a Meerkat? Because here's Periscope now, and what do you think is going to happen to a Meerkat?
I don't know.
Because
I
they
mean-
got so
I mean,
much
there's-
Hollywood money.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's also that app Hang With. I mean,
Yeah,
there
Hang
even
With was there
that.
before, yeah.
I mean, so there's a bunch of these.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting what you brought up about the NHL,
Yeah.
right? Blocking it. I think what
And
you're
how
going
are they going to block it too?
Well, I mean, I think what's going to be interesting is like how do you regulate it if
Yeah.
you are in a place
Yeah.
like that and control the content,
Yeah.
and more so, if it is truly self-publishing and self-broadcasting, I was talking with someone about this the other day. It's like even how do you incorporate that now into another show?
Right.
Is it
Right.
GPS
How's it-
based at all?
It is
Meerkat, yeah.
location based.
So maybe
yeah.
that's how they're going to block it.
They could, or they just. I think if they see the live stream somewhere, because you tag it and so on, they'll just
They'll come after you.
they'll have a relationship with Twitter to like block it or something.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
could do that, and also they'll take a few individuals and they'll make
yeah.
public case studies
Yeah.
out of it and scare everybody.
Mm.
But I mean, because I think the people that have done the best with Periscope and Meerkat are the publishers, right? Like Variety and Mashable and HuffPost, who are all just doing live things,
Yeah.
Like,
But like take you for example, right? I mean,
Yes.
you cover a lot of a lot of
Events,
things,
yeah.
events and so on. I mean, you could have your own Lori channel,
Yes.
on Periscope, but
Yeah.
also
we're going to start doing that actually.
Well, some of
That's
our
great.
hosts started doing that. They'll
Yeah.
just bring
While
the
they're here.
Periscope in, and
Yeah.
while they're on the air, they'll
Yeah.
be broadcasting their Twitter
But see,
followers.
here's where I think it has to start to evolve,
Mhm.
which is like, how do you bring in advertising? How do you bring in,
Right.
a cutaway shot to
Sure.
something external?
Right.
How do you make it more than just this kind of gimmicky?
Mhm.
Oh, here are the three of us in the
And
room.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
Sure.
this has some production value. It's almost like Mad Money or something like
Right,
that.
right.
Like, how do I recreate
How
that?
to bump it up the
sort of
next notch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can actually monetize
And the thing
it.
about the Periscope or Meerkat is, yes, it streams live, but if you do want better quality video to archive, when you archive those videos, they're just not great quality.
Yeah.
Because you're archiving a stream.
Back
it-
to our original conversation.
Yeah.
They are not premium content.
Yeah, they're not premium content, except for if you were shooting me. But like, okay, for instance, when I go to Shanghai, I'm not going to be periscoping or meerkatting because China doesn't shuts down all those pipes. But what I probably will do is shoot YouTube video or
Can't
video
you
on
talk
my
to
camera.
Scott about how you can somehow
Get around it?
proxy that somehow?
Yeah, my husband is a very smart man, but I don't think he can
just-
beat the Chinese government.
There's got to be some way of
Going around it,
Yeah,
finding a pocket.
Have him give you some kind of firewall that
Yeah,
changes
some
the
special one.
port number or
Yeah.
something on it and
Can you
sneak it
imagine
through.
these
and-
Chinese officials coming after me? I was like, what?
Scott, if you're listening, here's a project for you.
Well, I mean, but I'm going to make a choice to record on my camera phone in a format that will have better quality.
Wait, you have a camera on your phone?
Yeah. Remember when that was a big deal? Remember when posting to Twitter instantly was a big deal or any of that?
Remember when Twitter came out?
Yeah. And everyone said, what's this?
Well,
And I remember saying events. It's going to be big at events.
You said something about Mini Broadcaster that you
Yeah.
were promoting.
Yes. Mini Broadcaster. Have you seen that? It's
To live stream?
It's live stream, and it's this little red box, and through Wi-Fi it broadcasts, and you just attach it to any camera you have.
Oh.
Any video camera will live
What's it called?
stream.
Mini broadcast?
Mini Broadcaster. Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I
That's
should
what I was
probably-
thinking
I
about.
should probably pick that up.
Yeah.
It could go on any camera, and it'll just broadcast it. But again, I don't know that I want to always do everything live.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather shoot a
Yeah.
great video and have it on a nice
Yeah.
fat hard drive and
Right.
just
When you want to edit it or produce
Yeah,
it
Does
a
it
little bit and
record
stuff
it
like
though?
that?
That's the question. Does it
I'm
record it
sure
when it's
that-
live streamed? Does it
Maybe it
archive?
records it to the cloud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure
somewhere.
it does.
Yeah.
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 But I think again, it's a matter of what your final
Mm-hmm.
format is going to
Sure.
be and all of that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. But I will bring something with me. That's a good idea.
Mm.
Getting that Chinese visa, by the way,
Yeah.
I had to jump
been
through
brutal.
all sorts of hoops, and I finally gave up and went through one of those businesses that charges you a couple $100 to just do it for you.
To do it.
I was
That's
like,
the best way to do it.
I can't figure it out. And they were very nice. And here's a check for $300.
That's right.
At
At least you'll get it.
At least I'll get it. Well, what's your favorite thing that you've looked at or played with, most recently on the tech side of things? What's turned you on the
On the
most?
tech side of things.
Any new business you've looked at, or?
I mean, some of the things, we've talked about, I've been a fan of this new like video aggregation thing called
Oh yeah. Tell me about
Fibo.
that one. Tell the audience about
So
Fibo.
Fibo, P-H-E-E-B-O, is kind of like Flipboard for video. And so, I mean, that's been sort of my thing of I've been interested in. So I met that company and, a couple young founders and just had a great vision for how to...
It does aggregate. It aggregates
YouTube, Vimeo,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So it's an aggregation platform.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's 1,000 of those out there. But I think the unique thing that they've done is rather than trying to focus on like, hey, what's the big problem with video aggregation? It's really more just let's just create a better experience.
Yeah. And they're
which
also
sometimes gets overlooked.
Right. And they're
right. Like everyone gets so focused
on the content.
We got to have all these tools and
and
it's like, why don't you just make it look nice and easy to use and something
and
fun?
And by the way, monetize it. Like, think about that.
Right.
Because we're talking about bringing a client to them, and they're able to create a channel for that client, wrap it in branding, do direct purchase inside of that video window. You don't have to leave the app to go buy something. So they're actually thinking about, again, the user path.
That's right.
Which I think is so important.
And I mean, so I studied this a while ago, and I think there's, clearly when you're at home and watching TV on your big screen, right, you're not in a I want to purchase things kind of mode. But when you're on your phone and
I'm always in a purchase mode, Mark, just so you know.
Sorry.
But I know what you mean.
But when you're sitting at your computer or your device, you're more apt to make a purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the tighter you can integrate that video purchase experience into one thing,
you're absolutely right.
Powerful.
And we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the last show, that there's this deep relationship between video and commerce, and there's a lot of sites and business models.
I would say sometimes.
Yeah. When have you seen it not work? Have you seen it not work?
Well, it's just when like I said, when you're at home. I'm not in a commerce shopper.
Mode.
I'm a lean back, just watch what's on.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not a woman. Because I always am
I've been
shopping.
called that before.
The question is, does that order by remote work? I mean,
no. Like
I
was talking to a buddy of mine.
It's not going to go down
and
that
it's
way.
like, you know what? It's like, how many years have we
been
talked
waiting?
about for like interactive TV, and I'm going to be able to order a pizza through my TV. It's like, you know what? I can do it from my phone.
I know.
You know what?
Like,
I can freaking get off my fat ass and make a pizza.
There you go. Get Scott to make it for you.
That's right. It would be better tasting.
But I think that whole thing of like, get people when they're actually like, there's a difference between when I'm in shopping mode and when I'm not in shopping mode.
Right, I agree.
And I think creating
behaviorally, you're absolutely true. For me, it's when I'm online, when I'm on my computer online, and I'm taking a break from whatever I'm doing, and I get into purchasing mode. I hate having to get up and get my credit card.
Yes,
I freaking hate that. Which is why I end up using PayPal if that's a choice. But that piece has to be.
You haven't memorized the number yet.
I have many different credit cards.
I was actually talking about
my
this.
life is compartmentalized.
I was talking about this too. Like, remember when Hulu first came out? In the sort of the state of the state when Hulu came out, like 7 years ago or something, was like, you had this ugly browser experience to play video.
Yes.
And Hulu created sort of their theater mode.
Yes.
And so it was like when I just want to watch a good
you
piece
just
of
wanna
video,
watch, right.
I click in theater mode, and sort of
has
like
that too,
everything goes away. But that was new at the time, is my point.
You're right.
And so I think it's sort of like now we have to kind of think about those ideas. Like, how do we, do things now that are new with the video experience? Okay, great. Theater mode, now everyone has it. So what's next?
Right.
I mean, like, I liked what I think you showed me, the Starbucks thing that was done on YouTube.
Yeah. Meet me at Starbucks.
Meet me at Starbucks, with the different clips. And I mean, I thought that was really
they
interesting
hired
way
documentary filmmakers to shoot all over the world in Starbucks, and they followed stories because Starbucks is like filled with stories. People meet there every week.
Of
Clubs
course,
meet there, all this stuff, and they follow documentaries, and then they served it up in this really fun, unique player that they partnered with YouTube to build a new kind of player. So.
But I mean, just so you know, the cool thing was that they could actually click on different clips within the video.
Yeah.
So they had segments carved out, so if you could watch the whole thing,
right?
Or you could jump to different elements of it.
It's really cool.
And it was
like
really
a Which
cool.
Way book.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
Choose
like
your own adventure.
The video actually had little bumps in it, and you could go into a bump, and the bump was the deeper You know, yeah, it was really
so
cool.
I thought that, I mean, that's kind of cool, like new experiential things that you can start to do.
I love that stuff.
And so like, hey, look, if you want to just watch the video, great. I can click in theater mode. I'm done. Or if I want to engage with some content while I'm watching it, I mean, I think that's where part of it's going is, you know, like, you know, the thing I'm always kind of frustrated with is like, you know, like you know, as you know, I like to cook. So like I'm reading a recipe on my phone, right? And then I click to watch the video of it. And then like I have to watch the video, pause the video, jump back to the browser to see
the recipe,
jump back to the video. It's like, like, couldn't that be in like, kind of cool if it was all in one somehow. You know?
And why some people have gotten closer to that, but and that all of this is about the user experience. Even what we were talking about with longitudinal data, it's like, why aren't you actually looking at what a person actually does? I mean, it's so clearly
Behavior.
That's right.
Behavior. It's always about behavior. I mean, everything is always about behavior.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, and I think, you know, going back to the conversation around startups and what are people investing in. I mean, it's kind of funny how like VCs, it's like, oh, you just raised $10 million for your thing, so you win. No other competitions allowed. We're going to go invest in something else.
Right.
And it's just like, wait a second here. Like one company gets $10 million and that's it. The market's over.
Right,
you know, it's like, you know, like whatever happened to let's go, you know.
Try out things.
Yeah, let's go beat them. You know.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
You know, great. They got 10 million. You know, give me 5 and let's go take it on. You know.
Why now? Why is this all happening now? You know, is it just because of tech being so democratized and accessible? And
seems like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you
and
also,
a lot of rich people.
Well, and the rich people are tech now.
Right.
It used to be just like doctors and lawyers.
Right.
And,
Now you have
accountant. Now you have tech people who are
right.
smart enough around this kind of stuff.
Right.
So, you know, it's like you can't necessarily just go, well, just give me, you know, $100,000 and let me go do this thing. You know,
right.
Like we're a doctor. Not that I don't like doctors, I love doctors, but like, you know, a doctor,
doctors are important.
They're not a savvy tech investor.
Right.
But now you have all these people that made so much money in their tech startups doing the investments, so they know what you can do. And they know they don't have to give you $100,000. So it's like, here's 25.
So the doers are becoming the investors.
Right.
That's right. Or people that have made a fortune in their first thing, then step out of the building of it and become the advisors.
Yeah.
Right.
And the investors into that. So I think because there's so much tech influence in the investment community at the angel level, that's probably what's happening.
That's really interesting. Well, I think we have to.
Yeah, we're getting there closer.
We have to.
We're getting closer, but no, I also think it's turnkey solutions too. Is
Yes.
making it easier, you know, and repackaging. They're turnkey and repackaging.
And you know what people are saying nowadays is like, don't go build something that's already built. If it's already built, just leverage it. You know, like pull in the API, pull in the content, pull in the data.
There's so much already done.
Do
Right.
what's unique. You do what's unique. Don't go reinvent the wheel. And
Yeah,
stuff,
it's funny when we had Kevin Winston here, Digital LA. He was taking us through all these new apps that are like service related, like come and have someone, you know, trim your feet, and someone will bring your tuxedo, and someone will shop for you, and it's all these like on demand. It's all these on demand services, and I found myself being excited about it, that anything in my life could be taken care of, but then also overwhelmed about, to your point, which is the thing I use. How many apps will I have on my phone?
Uber operator.
Yeah, Uber operator. That's right.
Operator.
I just want
There
one
it goes.
thing.
Yeah.
Hey, we should start that business.
Right? No, I think it's interesting because they have Uber Fresh, but how are they doing with that? You know
It's
about
actually
Fresh,
great.
right?
I use it a lot.
Do you use
do.
Uber Fresh
Yeah,
as
'cause,
opposed to Amazon Fresh?
Well, they're different.
Yeah, but
Uber Fresh is a meal, like a lunch.
Your lunch.
So like
Okay.
if I'm working from home and I don't feel like cooking something, I can just see what's on their menu today and literally in less than 5 minutes have a fresh cooked meal
I
to
thought
my
it
door.
was groceries.
No, it's not
Oh.
groceries.
No,
my
it's
God.
No.
it's
cooked meals.
Meals, and it's a
And it's good
particular
stuff.
menu for your area.
Every
you
day.
order from.
And difference
I'm all over
for
it.
lunch and dinner.
I'm on it. That's
$12
what we're-
bucks.
That's what we're doing tonight.
Right, around
And
12 to 15 bucks. something like
Less.
that? Oh,
Have
really?
you
Yeah,
done,
like so I did like in Santa Monica where I am. They have
download it right now.
Well, it's right. It's built into the
it's
Uber
built
app.
into Uber.
You just
It is?
you just select
Yeah,
Fresh.
you just slide it the
I
bar
did.
over to
I
Uber.
see all
Yeah.
the time. I thought it was going to replace my Amazon
No.
Fresh.
No.
No, but like there's this one deli that makes sandwiches in Santa Monica that like to drive over there, wait 30 minutes in line to get your sandwiches on is brutal. So I never would go there.
Right.
Let's see.
Uber offers delivery of that sandwich like on Thursdays, and it's like $10, and like, you know, within 5 minutes it's at your door. So like you could be like, I'm really hungry right now. boom, 5
How does
minutes
that
later.
work on the restaurant end? So they
So
have
in this case, they pre-make a bunch of sandwiches, and they have designated Uber drivers that
Okay.
have a cooler basically
Oh,
in
that
their
are-
car
oh
that
my
have all
gosh,
the
yeah.
sandwiches
So
pre-made.
smart.
So then they just park around town, and then they zip
Okay,
around.
okay.
And
I
so
had
it's
no
not an
idea.
extensive menu. It's like
Yeah.
you get a sandwich and a Coke.
Okay.
Or a sandwich, Coke, and a cookie or something, or chips. Real simple. So there's no
and it's gourmet meals too.
There's
right?
no customization though.
for like dinner, gourmet meals. And so
Right, you have
forth.
to
Yeah.
take what they
Yeah.
have. What
Yeah.
about though Blue Apron? Have you tried Blue
I haven't
Apron
tried
yet?
that.
Where you make
Yeah.
they deliver the groceries? All right, so here I am. So there's fresh.
Yeah.
Oh
And then
wow.
then you
And then
say
it brings
show
up a
menu.
menu.
Show menu.
Mhm.
Show menu. Come
Oh,
on.
here, I'll zoom in for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that. So
Yeah,
it's
Coral
talking
Tree
about
Cafe.
Coral Tree
yeah,
Cafe.
that's great. Good stuff.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
There it is. Look,
Mm-hmm.
just came in.
That's really great. Look at that.
Yeah.
See, I always thought it was competing with Amazon Fresh, so
No.
I haven't tried it. But this may have just once again saved my marriage,
Yeah.
Mark.
But like, like even the Amazon thing. Like the other day, I lost my Bluetooth earpiece.
Yeah.
On a Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, I realized I lost it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I got a big conference call on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, do I go to the store to buy an earpiece?
Yeah.
I was kind
So
of
you
bummed.
Amazon Freshed it?
So I go on Amazon, like not even first thing in the morning, but like by afternoon, like probably around
And they
noontime,
delivered it that night?
and I got it that night.
Yeah, that is
And it was just
that is
like,
awesome.
that's awesome.
That's
And it was
awesome.
just like,
I know
how
what
cu-
what
how
has
cool is
happened.
Is that
to-
part of Prime? Or
it's just I mean
Okay.
it's part of
Prime or
Prime,
Fresh, they
but it's
kind
like,
of
Oh, okay.
but here's what was so amazing. I found this great deal on this new highly rated Bluetooth
Thing.
earpiece.
Yeah.
The Bluetooth earpiece was $24, and to get same day delivery on a Sunday was an extra $3.
That was
wow.
It was like, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it delivered by a drone?
I don't
there
care.
will be
I
soon.
don't care. I got it.
But you know what?
But like,
you know what?
but
It
like
has
$3,
changed.
Right.
Hasn't that-
$3.
I know.
Like,
Hasn't that
how would you
changed
not
your
do that?
behavior though? Because now I think if I can't get free delivery or delivery in 2 days, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with you. So some retailers now are scrambling to figure out how do they
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
that level, and they can't.
Yeah.
You know.
So, it's funny related to beacons.
Yes.
Like I got into
Everything's about
I
beacons.
know. I'm trying to get it there. No,
LocationX, ladies and gentlemen.
Location, and we now have the .com, so locationx.com.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Did you have to buy that from
We
somebody?
did. We
Okay.
did. Got it for a good deal. Though,
Oh,
so,
okay,
so
nice.
can't complain.
All right, good job.
But what was interesting? I was talking to some big box retailers
Yes.
that they were like, we don't need your data. Like why would we work with you? And I was like, here's something interesting that you could do with a big box retailer with this kind of beacon data, which is I can show that you were actually in the store showrooming, and then marry it up with like our old data from Experian to show that you actually then transacted
Right,
on
you can
Amazon.
actually prove the loop. You can prove the loop. Yeah.
And so I was like, they were like, we're never going to do that. We don't want to help Amazon. I was like,
it helps you.
you know
it
what?
sells your product.
I was like, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go to Amazon, like shut down your website right now,
Right.
put all your extra merchandise up on Amazon,
Right.
and rebuild your store on Amazon,
Right.
and then go to them and go, you know what? We want a VIG for all the referral traffic that we give you
Right,
for
right,
showrooming.
right.
Now be part of the solution
Right.
instead of fighting them.
Can't they just use Amazon's like web server, like solution, like cloud solution, and wouldn't that tie into the
Well,
Amazon
technically,
account?
Amazon actually shut down their e-commerce site builder.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just recently. But the point being, I'm sure
Why?
if you're because it's, not many people are building e-commerce sites anymore.
Right,
so-
that's right. Because
so
everyone's
they didn't
going
need
to
to
them.
support it. Yeah.
Because Target used
Yeah.
to just be Amazon,
Right. But like that's sort of the point. It was
Yeah.
like, why don't we go back to that model?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, great. Target, you have everything in the store. Like, why not get credit for showrooming?
Right. No,
For-
I love that
and sort
idea.
of like encourage showrooming. Fine.
Right.
It's like fine.
Well,
come
it's
in
not
and
even
then, like,
encourage it. It's create a business model around the
Around it.
behavior
Yeah.
that is happening.
Yeah.
Behavior.
And you have all the attribution,
Yeah.
so you can show that hey,
Yeah.
look, Lori came into the store.
I'm
and
telling you,
bought some-
retailers would love to be able to tag
Totally.
physical to digital to physical.
yes.
I mean, absolutely. Well, let's
They
make
just
that
have to
happen.
get out of their. They have
Their
to
own
realize.
way.
They have to realize that it's more about partnerships,
Right.
and collaborating with Amazon or whoever,
Yeah.
versus we're just going to do it all ourselves.
Or as we were saying earlier, partnering with God, because Amazon, Google, and Facebook are God. I'm just saying, and I don't mean
Is that, do you mean the devil or
No.
God? Okay.
could be a little bit of both.
Right.
I know. I don't mean for all you Jews out there. I don't mean the God that we are dealing with. Anyway, okay. But anyway, well, I think we have to go.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you once again for
Thanks for
joining us.
having me on.
Mark is going to
Always
be
a pleasure.
a frequent commentator. Come back and hear more tech trends impacting your business, and join us for more insights on what's really happening out in the world.
Thanks for having me.
It's such a pleasure.
Now that you found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Ah, the holidays. A time for giving, a time for getting, and a time for going and going.
And going and going and going and going.